Jai Sitaram. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitayah Pateye Namaha. Ayodhya Ch, chapter 17. Rama goes to his father, continued. So in this chapter, we further describe the journey towards the royal palace, and Rama hears blessings and well-meanings of his words and various people gathered there. Verse 1. So Ramah Ratan Asthaya Samprahrishta Suhrij Janah Patak Dhvaja Sampannam Maharha Guru Dhupitam Apashyan Nagaram Shriman Nana Jana Samakulam. Flags and proud banners rose to the sky from every part of the city. Sandal, aloes, frankincense, and many other rare perfumes spread sweet fragrance everywhere. Verse 2. Sa grahai abhra sankashahi pandurai upashobhitam rajamargam yayo ramah madhyena agrudhupitam. The mansions of the nobility gleamed white like a bank of fleecy clouds. And Rama went through the royal passage, which was full of incense and aloe wood. Verses 3, 4, and 5. Chandananam cha mukhyanam agurunam cha samachayah uttamanam cha gandhanam kshauma kaushambarasya cha avidhabhischa muktabhiruttamaihi sfatikairapi shobhamanam asambadham tam rajapatham uttamam samvrittam vividaihi panaihi bhakshaihi uccha avichaihi api. The royal road was lined with shops, booths, stalls, stores, emporiums full of rare and priceless silks, cloths, wraps, and unbored pearls, crystals, and every delicacy and scarce had room for the huge crowds that poured in every moment. Verse 6. Dadarshatam Rajapatham Divi Deva Patham Yatha Dadhyakshata Havirlajehi Dhupair Aguru Chandanaihi Nanam Alopya Gandaischa Sada Abhyarahita Chatvaram. And Rama drove along, letting his eyes rest on the familiar and loved scenes that recall the bright roadway of the gods on high. The crossings were wonderfully decorated with curd, grains of colored rice, parched grain, sandal, aloe, incense, garlands, and offerings of food. Verse 7. Ashirvadan bahun shrunvan sukhritbihi samudritan yatha arham chapi sampujya sarvan eva naranyayayo. His numerous friends and well-wishers gave him their blessings as he passed on. Verse 8. Pitamahe acharitam tathaiva prapitamahe adya upadaya tam margam abhishiktah anupalaya. May your fair brows wear the crown of Koshala. Walk in the traditions of your fathers and extend the shadow of your protecting arm over us, even as Dasharatha and his predecessors used to do. Verse 9. Yatasma lalitaha pitra yatha purvaihi pitamahehi tataha sukhataram sarve Rama vatsyama rajani. Your accession to the throne spells a long period of peace and prosperity for us. Verse 10. Alamadya hi bhuktena parama artehi alam chanah yatha pashyama niryantam ramam rajye pratishtitam. We desire nothing more than to see you ride back to your palace, fresh from the consecration bath. What care we for the material pleasures this earth can give us, or vows, chants, sacrifices, and gifts that we can secure to us a happy hereafter? Verse 11. ततः हि न प्रियतरं न अन्यत् किंचित् भविष्यति यथा अभिषेको रामस्य राजेन अमित तेजसः. Once again, we proclaim that our hearts hold no other wish than to see you, the incredibly splendorous Rama, as the monarch of this fair realm. Verse 12. एताः च अन्याः च सुहृदाम् उदासीनः कथाः शुभाः आत्मसम्पूजनैः शृण्वन् ययो राम महापथम्. Verse 13. न हि तस्मान् मनः कश्चित् चक्षुषी वा नर उत्तमात् नरः शक्नोति अपाकृष्टुम् अतिक्रान्ति अपि राघवे. Such praises and plaudits elated not the heart of Rama. They left him humbler and more solicitous to deserve such unbounded love and confidence. He passed along, rewarding them with a glance, a look, a nod, a word, a bow, a slight raising of the brows, or a reverent clasp of the hands as became their rank and station. Those who looked at him but once stood rooted to the spot, gazing intently at where he flashed upon their sight. Their looks followed their hearts, which they had lost to Rama. They saw him in every object. They heard him in every sound. Just conceive what it would have been like in his presence. It is not given to all to be so blessed as to speak to Rama, to pour our hearts to him in eloquent praise, to offer him our poor welcome and homage. The very sight of his supernal beauty raises us to the loftiest heights of ineffable bliss. But it is not beyond the bounds of possibility for one to have a sight of his glorious presence, or more fortunate still, to come within the range of his compassionate glance. Verse 14. Yascha Ramam na pashyetu yam cha Ramo na pashyati nindatah sarvalokeshu svatmapyenam vigarhate. But should there be a man who neither saw Rama nor was seen by him, the meanest object in creation will rise up against him in scorn and contempt. Now the whole world may shun a man, yet he can never fail to have the approbation of his conscience to console him, while this miserable wretch is utterly denied even that poor comfort. The small still voice in him will spurn him away. Verse 15. Sarvesham sahi dharmatma varnanam kurte dayam chaturnam hi vayah sthanam tena tetam anuvratah. Rama is the same to all, high or low, peasant or philosopher, man or beast. He fulfills in them their utmost deserts and withholds from them nothing, not even the bliss of emancipation. Hence, it is no wonder that they love him so and lose their hearts to him. Verse 16. Chat pushpathan devapathams chaityanya ayatanani cha Pradakshinam pariharan jagama nirpratesutah. Crossings, fanes, holy trees, halls he passed along, going round them in reverence. Verses 17, 18 and 19. Sa rajakulam asadya maha Indra bhavana upamam prasad Shringaihi Kailasa Shikharopamaihi Avarayatpi Ganam Vimanar Iva Panduraihi Vardhamanah Grihais Chapi Ratna Jala Parikskritaihi tat prithviyam grihavaram Mahendra Sadanopamam Rajaputra Pitu Veshma Prabhivesha Shriya Jvalan. Rama approached the palace of his sire, that with its Vardhamana houses flashing with gems, gave one the idea or the mansion of Indra come down on earth. Lofty towers hid the sky from view like cloud banks or Kailasa peaks or the snow-white vimanas or the aerial cars of gods. Verse 20. Sakakshaya danmibhir guptastisru atikramya vajibihi padatirapare kakshiye dve jagama narottamah. He drove through 3 blocks guarded by archers and walked through a couple more until he was at the gates of the inner chambers. Verse 21. Sarvaha samati kramya kakshaya dashratatmajah samnivartya janam sarvam shuddhantah puram abhyagat. Rama left his friends and retinue there and entered that paradise on earth. Verse 22. Tasmin pravishte pitur antikam tada janah sarvo muditaha nripatmaje pratikshate tasya punah sma nirgamam yatha udayam chandramasah saritpatihi. The vast crowd waited outside in joyous anticipation, even as the shoreless ocean awaits the rising of the moon, and said to themselves, "Some marvelous good fortune welcomes our beloved Rama yonder. He will be back among us in no time and give us the pleasure of beholding his coronation." This is the conclusion of the 17th chapter of Ayodhya Chant. The most important thing for us to remember from this chapter is the fact that Rama was very supremely beloved by the people of Ayodhya. And all of them were anticipating the time when Rama is going to rule over them. And this should be the attitude of bhaktas, that we should be willing to be ruled by the Lord. The Lord should have the full sway on every aspect of our lives. In the next chapter, we will get to see how the tides turn and how Kaikeyi informs Rama of her 2 boons. Mangalam Koshalendraya Mahaniya Gunavdeye Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Jai Sitaram.